What I'm going to be doing here in this video is creating a user set in ELIS that is going to be automatically populated based on a profile in a user's profile, or profile field in a user's profile. So here's a generic user profile, student 1, and at the very bottom there is a field in other fields called test 1. And I'm just going to put something in there called new hire for now. Now, in order to have this happen, it has to be a custom profile field that's been added to kind of the standard profile that's already in Moodle. So it's got to be one of these custom fields that's been added. I'm using a text input just because it's the easiest way to go. And I'm just going to go ahead and update this profile. So now we've got new hire added to this profile. So if I wanted to have a user set automatically add student 1 based on that value, the first thing I need to do is go and make that user set. So while logged in as an admin, I'm going to go over to the ELIS administration block. It may have formerly been called the program administration block in earlier versions of Moodle or ELIS. And I'm going to actually click on the users, expand the users, and click on manage user sets. This is where you're going to see all of your user sets. I've got one here, but I'm just going to add a new set, create it from scratch. I'll call it new hires. I can also make this a top level, or I could assign it as a subset to an existing user set as well, depending on how you want it to work, but I'm going to make it a top level one. And then the only other real step is here I need to auto associate users with Moodle profile field. So I'm going to pick the profile field as test1. That was the one that I entered it in. Now it's always going to be the short name, so whatever is listed as the short name for that profile field within the settings of that profile field, that's what's going to be right here. So it's test1, and then I need to set the value, and it's got to be exact. So I want to make sure I don't add an extra space in here accidentally, or another character, or misspell it, because it's basically we're telling ELIS and Moodle to look for this exact thing. So you want to make sure that it works that way. There is an option to add two things in here. The way these work is it's going to be kind of an and sort of logic. So if I were to add another one in here for text to a different profile field, so basically, and if I put something in here, I'm telling ELIS that the rule to get into this user set is they have to have new hire listed in test1, and they have to have this string of characters listed in text to a different profile field. So it's not either or. It's got to be an and. So just to make sure you do that, otherwise you could end up with some user set associations that aren't what you were looking for. Once I've done that, that's pretty much all that I want to do for a basic user set. The rest of the settings can be left as is. Now I can go ahead and check by clicking on the Users tab. And there it is. Student 1 has been automatically assigned to the user set based on that profile field. So that's why right here it says automatically assigned. At this point, I could add others to the user set if that's what I was trying to do. So if I didn't want to use the association through profile fields, you can just as easily do a search for users. Say I wanted to add all of the students. I could go ahead and select multiple students at once, drag all of them down into the bulk assignment area, and click on Assign. The only difference between these two is that student 1, if I go back to the currently assigned list, you'll notice student 1 is a little bit different because they're automatically assigned. The other ones have been put in there manually. So you'll also notice I can't actually take student 1 out of there because he's in there because of that profile field. The only way to get him out would be to move him out of remove that value out of his profile, and then he would be able to be removed. But otherwise, he's in there as is. Now, once I have gotten this user set created and I've got the appropriate people into it, or I've set it up so that new people can be added automatically through the profile field, from here I can take this user set and assign it to the different learning plans. The two main options are either assigning it to a program or assigning it to a track. If I assign it to a program, then what I'm doing is I'm just associating all of the users to that program, saying that basically these users need to fulfill this program. It's going to show up on their dashboard. It's not necessarily going to enroll them into any courses. It'll just basically show up that they need to take all of these course descriptions, and then they need to go ahead and fulfill that on their own by navigating through the ELIS menu to sign up for the class instances that basically fit their schedule. So it's basically just assigning them to a set of requirements, not necessarily giving them the ability to fulfill them automatically. The other one is a track. If I have tracks set up and I assign this user set to a track, then not only is it going to kind of assign them to the program that the track is an instance of, but it's going to automatically enroll them in any class instances that are in that track. And oftentimes, I think the majority of people need to use tracks for this reason, because it's going to not only get them into the program, but it's also going to get them into the class instances to complete the program, all in one swoop. So to assign a group like this, a user set, to a track, I clicked on the track tab for my new hire user set. Notice it's not currently assigned to any track, so I can click on available to assign. And then here's all of the current tracks that I have on my sandbox site. So I'll go ahead and just click on this test, check off auto enroll because I want to make sure that they're all auto enrolled. And there we go. Now if I go to currently assigned, I see that this track has been added to it. And not only that, but they should all automatically be enrolled in there. So all of those users that we see on this test, in this currently assigned, they're going to be now enrolled in that, not only in the program, but also in all of the class instances that are part of the track, regardless of whether they came in automatically or manually. And that's about it for automatically assigning users to a user set and then taking that user set and assigning it to tracks.